Chag Sameach, everyone. A happy and a joyous Sukkot. We're using the prayer book that is for weekdays and festivals. It has two settings of numbers. I'm going to announce both of them because I know that the link that is in the bottom of the YouTube is different in the numbers than what we have in front of us. So we're going to announce both set of numbers so we can all be in the same place. We begin our service with a reading on page 149, which is probably on page 413 in the YouTube link. And it's a special reading from the festival morning service for Sukkot. Into the sanctuary we have brought the symbols of Sukkot. The lulav that resembles the human spine, may we stand straight with courage and integrity. The myrtle, whose leaves are shaped like eyes, may we behold the beauty and grandeur of the universe. The willow, whose leaves resemble human lips, may we offer enduring words. And the etrog, shaped like a human heart, may love guide us from selfishness to service. God of Israel, let our sense be filled with love for you and your will. Let our harvest be shared with all. We turn to page 154, which is also 418, to sing together Ma Tovu. Turn now to page 188, 452 on the YouTube link for the Berlow. Please rise. אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל, המאיר לארץ ולדרים עליה ברחמים, ובטובו מחדש בכל יום תמיד מעשה וראשית. מה רבו מעשיך, אדוני, כולם בחוכמה עשית, מלאה הארץ קנייניך. תתברך, אדוני אלוהינו, על שבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפה רוח הסלע, אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני, יוצר המאורות. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai! In wisdom you form them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands, and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may sweetly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer Ameorot. We turn to page 194, 458 in the YouTube link for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivon Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוך בך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We turn to page 200 and, I'm sorry.
And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
And now we turn to page 202, which is 466 in the YouTube link, to sing together Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'im Adonai, mi chamocha neder b'kodesh, norot zeirut,
turn to page 204, 468 for the tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, God of our fathers and mothers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah, the great, mighty, and awesome God, transcendent God, who bestows loving kindness, creates everything out of love, remembers the love of our fathers and mothers, and brings redemption to their children's children for the sake of the divine name. Sovereign deliverer, helper, and shield, blessed are you, Adonai, Sarah's helper, Abraham's shield. Baruch ata Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all. You rain dew upon us. You sustain life through love, giving life to all. Through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts? Who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up, and faithfully giving life to all. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch ata Adonai, mechaye hakol. And we turn to page 212, 476 for the Kedusha.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך על הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכינו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated as we turn to page 214, 478. You have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot and drawing us close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, Adonai our God, you have given us feasts of gladness and seasons of joy, this festival of Sukkot, season of our thanksgiving, to unite in worship and recall the Exodus from Egypt. Our God and God of our ancestors, be mindful of your people Israel and recall our merit for good and grace, and in loving kindness and compassion for life and peace on this festival of Sukkot. Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova, ופוקדנו בו לברכה, והושיענו בו לחיים. This day remember us for well-being.
Amen.
This day bless us with your nearness.
Amen.
This day help us to be a fuller life.
Amen.
And we turn now to page 226, 490 for the blessing for Shalom. Grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to us and to all your people Israel. Bless us, our Creator, all of us together, through the light of your presence. Truly, through the light of your presence, Adonai our God, you gave us a Torah of life, the love of kindness, justice, and blessing, mercy, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless your people Israel at all times, at every hour, with your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uveracha, hina chesed Sim shalom, sim shalom.
We turn now to page 247, which is 511 in the YouTube link, to ask for healing and courage and strength as we sing together the Misha Berach.
מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We turn now to page 230 for Seder Kriyat HaTorah LeYom Tov, the order of reading from the Torah on a holiday, and we begin by singing En Kamocha.
In Kamocha Elohim Adonai, in Kimasecha, Malchutecha, Malchut Kalamim, Umemshaltecha b'kol dor v'dor. Adonai Melech, Adonai Melech, Adonai Imor, Le'olam Moed. Adonai Oz le'amoitim, Adonai Yivarich, Yitamor v'shalom. Adonai Yivarich, Yitamor v'shalom.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai Kadosh Shemo. Our God is one, Adonai is great, holy is God's name.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adoninu, Kadosh Shemo. Leka Adonai Agidula, V'Hagivura, V'Hativirin, V'Hanitzach, V'Hahod. Ki kol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, Ki kol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, v'hanit nasi lichol lirosh.
Please be seated. So before we say the blessing and read from the Torah, I just want to say something about the context, or to introduce the part in the Torah that we're reading for the holiday of Sukkot. So, you know, the Reform movement in Israel once had a campaign with a slogan, "There's more than one way to be Jewish." The Torah can run a slogan, "There is more than one way to celebrate Sukkot." There's at least two Sukkots in the Torah, the one of Leviticus and the one of Deuteronomy. There's probably a little bit of a variation also in Exodus, but Deuteronomy and Leviticus are two holidays called Sukkot, with some things that are in common, but probably if the two holidays would meet each other, they wouldn't recognize one another. So we're going to focus on the one in Deuteronomy. The one in Leviticus is the one that is more familiar to us. It's, you build a sukkah, you remember the days that our ancestors were in the desert and God was hovering them like a parent, watching them 24/7 and being present there with the divine presence of clouds of glory during the day and a pillar of fire during the night. So Sukkot of Leviticus is about that, remembering the 40 years that God watched over our ancestors and provided all their needs while they were journeying in the desert. And it's a holiday which is celebrated more in a family way. You go out to your backyard and you build a sukkah, and that's where you celebrate it. I'm not going to talk about the one of Deuteronomy. We're going to read it so we can see for ourselves. And I want to talk about one mitzvah that is very unique, very kind of demanding, unique, that appears only in Deuteronomy. But first, we'll say the blessing together. Jennifer, can you lead us, please?
Sure. Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
חג הסוכות תעשה לך 7 ימים באוספך מגרונך ומיקבך, ושמחת בחגיך אתה ובנך ובתך ועבדך ואמתך והלוי והגר והיתום והאלמנה אשר בשעריך. 7 ימים תחוג לאדוני אלוהיך במקום אשר יבחר אדוני, כי יברכך אדוני אלוהיך בכל תבואתך ובכל מעשה ידיך, והיית אך שמח. 3 פעמים בשנה יראה כל זכורך את פני אדוני אלוהיך במקום אשר יבחר, בחג המצות ובחג השבועות ובחג הסוכות, ולא יראה את פני אדוני ריקם, איש כמתנת ידו כברכת אדוני אלוהיך אשר נתן לך. And this is the translation. After the ingathering from the threshing floor of your vat, you shall hold the feast of booths for 7 days. You shall rejoice in your festival with your son and daughter, your male and female slave, the Levite, the stranger, the orphan, and the widow in your communities. You shall hold festival for Adonai your God 7 days in the place that Adonai will choose. For Adonai your God will bless all your crops and all your undertakings, and you shall have nothing but joy. 3 times a year, on the feast of unleavened bread, on the feast of weeks, and on the feast of booths, all your male shall appear before Adonai your God in the place that Adonai will choose. They shall not appear before Adonai empty-handed, but each with his own gift according to the blessing that Adonai your God has bestowed upon you. So, if you've noticed, as I mentioned, a very different holiday. First of all, the biggest mitzvah of Sukkot that is mentioned in Leviticus is not here. Build a sukkah. Doesn't say that you have to build a sukkah. All you need to do is go to the place that Adonai will choose. Later on, we think that it's Jerusalem. Jerusalem is not mentioned in the Torah. But you go to the place and you celebrate and you bring all kinds of sacrifices. And you're there for 7 days and you're happy and joyful and only happy. So really a different mitzvah, a different holiday. Also, one of my favorite parts of Sukkot, this and especially the etrog, is not mentioned here, so we don't have the whole thing with bringing the symbols of all the things that we gather, or all the fruit of the land, of the holy land of Israel there. It's a holiday, it's a pilgrimage holiday. It's compared in the mitzvah to the other pilgrimage holidays, and it's about coming to the temple in the place that Adonai is going to choose, later on Jerusalem, and celebrating with the rest of the people of Israel. It's not so much about a family holiday. But I want to focus on the second mitzvah there. We're told that we need to be happy. Not only that we need to be happy, actually, to be joyful, but only joyful for 7 days. That's the only holiday, by the way, that we're supposed to be happy or joyful. There's no other holiday that there's a mitzvah like that. Now, getting commandments about how we should feel, about our dispositions, that might seem strange to you, but actually it's very common. We're told to love Adonai our God. We just sang it. We're told to love the stranger. We're told to love our fellow human being, love thy neighbor. We're told not to covet. We're told not to hold grudges. We're told not to hate anyone in our hearts, and not to be vengeful. So there are a lot of mitzvot about how we should feel, but that's the only one about joy. And that's the only one that it's not only about my feelings, it's also the people around me. It's the Levite, the stranger in my midst, the orphan that I should feel responsible for, the widow, my children. It's it's a patriarchal society, so it's also about your wife that you need to take care of, but you need to take care of your entire household, including the strangers that are there. The widow and the orphan, maybe they're family, probably they are family that are related to you and you feel responsible as family, but also the stranger is mentioned there. And the Levite, probably not a family, probably someone that you need to take care of. All of them are supposed to be happy. The rabbis, by the way, have a very hard time with this mitzvah because, to be honest, I don't know about you guys. When I'm told to be happy, I feel the opposite, okay? I think that's human, okay? Growing up in Israel, we were told to be happy in Purim. That was the big celebration, even though there's no mitzvah in the Bible to be happy on Purim. And I was always kind of depressed on Purim. It was for me the most depressing holiday because I had to feel that I need to force myself to be happy. But hard enough as it is, you're supposed to make everyone else happy. So if you're worried about how the rabbis are actually giving advice, in Babylon, buy the women in the household colorful dresses. I guess that was the pinnacle of fashion at that time in Babylon. In Israel, simple dresses apparently for the females were enough. And with the rest of the household, food, the food that they like. Candy and sweets to the children, and all kind of, I guess, comfort food to everyone else. I can relate to that. Food is bringing happiness and joy, but it is kind of a mitzvah that is kind of weird. Having said that, I think it's a great mitzvah. And I think that what we do today, that we combine all the different Sukkot that we have in the Torah into one merged Sukkot. So we build a Sukkah. At the end of the service, we're going to go out there. We're going to enjoy some food. Hopefully it will bring some joy, baked goods from the women of Reform Judaism, and also some apples to those who don't eat baked goods. And we're going to hopefully feel the joy, and hopefully we can all feel for this time of Sukkot joy in our lives, and be thankful and grateful for everything that Adonai has bestowed on us. Let's do the blessing after reading from the Torah, page 234, 498.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe b'fnei bnei Yisrael. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe b'fnei bnei Yisrael. Al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe, b'yad Moshe. Al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe, b'yad Moshe. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe b'fnei bnei Yisrael. V'zot haTorah asher שעשה משה לפני בני ישראל.
And we turn now to page 294, 558 on YouTube for the Hallel. We start with the blessing for saying Hallel. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לקרוא את ההלל. Blessed are you Adonai our God, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to recite hymns of praise.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol Shema Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Shema Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol Shema Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Shema Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
We also sing Hodu l'Adonai, give thanks to Adonai.
Let all who revere God's name now say, Ki olam chasto. Sing praise to the Lord, for God is good. Ki olam chasto. Yomruna, yomruna, Yirei Adonai. Ki olam chasto, ki olam chasto.
We rise as we turn to page 323, 587 for the Aleinu.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We turn to page 335. It's 599. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. With the blessed memories of our loved ones, we read together the Mourner Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה לשמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה, may the memory of our loved ones come to be a blessing and a benediction. Amen. And our closing song is on page 400 in our books, and it's 664 in the link. It's Turn, Turn, Turn.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to mend, a time to soul, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
Chag Sameach and Shana Tova, and there's a time for everything, and it's the time now to go out to the Sukkah and enjoy God's presence through nature and interact with nature and say the blessings.
חג שמח.
חג שמח.
חג שמח.